Raiders Live pregame is presented by the Cal team at Remax Country on 40 Main Street in Milltown, New Jersey. Call John at 908-812-9148.
And yes, it's a pleasant Sunday morning to one and all, and we welcome you to TD Bank Ballpark in Bridgewater, New Jersey, where today Raiders baseball is on the King James Radio Network, as today the North Brunswick Raiders will take on the Carteret Ramblers in a GMC crossover matchup. This is a special edition of Raiders baseball from TD Bank Ballpark in Bridgewater. They're about to introduce the starting lineups here, and so we'll go ahead and send it over to the public address and have them take over. But the Raiders at 13-5 on the season, and they actually checked that. The Raiders lost on Friday to Middlesex, so they are now 13-6 on the season. Carteret, the Ramblers, come in at 6-11, and so the Raiders will try to get back on the winning track. So we'll turn it over to the starting lineups right now.
First for the visiting Ramblers of Carteret, led by head coach Mark Doloshinsky and assistant coaches Alex Bosch, Dan Morvay, Nick Panos, and Mike Kushner. Now the reserves. Pete Rueda, Justin Perez, number 14, Kevin Barrero, Felix Milano, Dennis Chop, number 21, Colin Swirsky, number 31, Jaden Rosado, and number 18, Jose Ortiz. And now the starting lineup for the Ramblers. Leading off, the center fielder, number 12, Julian Santana. Batting second, the shortstop, number 41, Axel Nunez. Batting third, playing second base, number 7, Elijah Colon. Batting cleanup, the catcher, number 2, Brian App. Batting fifth, the third baseman, number 33, Mike Gorzinski. Batting sixth, playing right field, number 1, Ethan Dona. Batting seventh, the left fielder, number 11, Josh Chambers. Batting eighth, the designated hitter, number 22, Gian Ortiz. Batting ninth, the first baseman, number 3, Jacob Jaws. And today's starting pitcher for the Ramblers, number 13, Tyler Baez. Ladies and gentlemen, the Carteret Ramblers. And now, for the Raiders of North Brunswick, led by head coach Mark Blevins, and assistant coaches Ray Lepsky, Mike Herman, and John Sook. The reserves, number 6, John Kukler. Number 4, Akshad Thurigmanem. Number 8, Jesse Gibbons. Number 17, Jason Rodriguez. Number 2, Mike Shimon. Number 5, Sean Brahimi. Number 16, Sunil Parkey. And number 15, Alex Bursack. And now, the starting lineup for the Raiders of North Brunswick. Leading off, the second baseman, number 1, Dylan Glassman. Batting second, the third baseman, number 11, Caleb Rodriguez. Batting third, the starting pitcher, number 3, Christian Petrillo. Batting cleanup, the shortstop, number 18, Andrew Tan. Batting fifth, the first baseman, number 12, Danny Rubin. Batting sixth, the catcher, number 9, Damian Ortiz. The right fielder, number 14, Kelson Hobson. Batting eighth, the center fielder, number 7, David Burrows. And rounding out the order for the Raiders, the left fielder, number 10, Nick Doan. Ladies and gentlemen, the Raiders of North Brunswick. At this time, we kindly ask that everyone please rise and remember to remove your caps for the playing of our national anthem.
And so with that, we will go ahead and break for the national anthem. When we come back, we'll have first pitch, North Brunswick and Carteret here from TD Bank Ballpark. This has been your Raiders Live pregame on the King James Radio Network, presented by the Cal team at Remax Country. And it is a pleasant Sunday morning to one and all. We welcome you to TD Bank Ballpark in Bridgewater, New Jersey, where today this is a special edition. We could call it a Raiders baseball on the King James Radio Network. As today, the North Brunswick Raiders take on the Carteret Ramblers in a GMC crossover matchup. The Raiders come in at 13-6 under second-year head coach Mark Blevins. Carteret, the Ramblers, they come in at 6-11 under eighth-year head coach Mark Domashinsky. The Raiders, of course, wearing their regular blue jerseys, the royal blues with the gold letters and numbers, great pants, blue caps with the gold brim and the gold insignia on the front of it. The Carteret Ramblers, most of them anyway, wearing their black jerseys with the blue letters and numbers, the royal blue, if you will, or the light blue letters and numbers trimmed in white pants, blue stripes. They have the white caps with the blue insignia on the front, white cap in the front, blue in the back. And so Carteret is the away team today. They will be batting first, and then as though the Raiders will take the field here. Carteret, out of the GMC Blue Division, interesting story with them. They started the year at 6-6 in their first 12 games, but they have lost their last 5. And so, Carteret trying to get a win. The Raiders just came off of a 5-game winning streak, and they lost to Middlesex on Friday. So the Raiders trying to start a new winning streak. So two teams, trying to get back in the win column. And, these two teams, of course, have met in the past. So, it should be an interesting matchup. Of course, the umpires at home plate. And so it looks like we will take the field shortly here. So let me see. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, we will have the first pitch, North Brunswick and Carteret. So we will do that on the other side of the break. This is Raiders Baseball on the King James Radio Network. All right, so we come back now as the Raiders take the field in for North Brunswick. Getting his first start of the season on the mound is junior left-hander Christian Petrillo. Christian, or Chich is his nickname, has come out of the bullpen for the Raiders this year, but he gets the start today primarily because the Raiders don't really have a lot of options in terms of who are they going to start today. And, Chich, he's a hard-throwing lefty, and so, Mark Blevins moving him up from the bullpen to a starting role here today. Danny Reardon and Stephen Mihalenko will be set to pitch on Monday and Tuesday against Woodbridge as the Raiders try to clinch a share of the GMC White Division title if they can. They're going to need some help in that regard. We'll talk about that throughout the course of the game. But Christian Petrillo, again, is a lefty, and he is a junior. And so on the season, let me see here. I'll have the right sheet in front of me in just a second, I think. Let me see. I'll find it. I have it here somewhere. At least I think I do. Maybe I didn't bring it with me. But let me see. No, maybe I don't have it with me. I thought maybe I did, but of course, I probably left it right where I shouldn't have. Let me see. No, I don't. I'll get you Chich's numbers. I'll let you know. I'll get you Chich's numbers in just a second. But let's get you the starting lineups here for Carteret. We'll start for Carteret. Julian Santana is the center fielder leading off. Axel Nunez is at short batting second. Elijah Colon, he is the second baseman hitting third. Brian App is your catcher batting fourth. Mike Gorzinski. He's the third baseman batting fifth, as Christian Petrillo's first pitch is a swung on and grounded over to shortstop. Andrew Tan, low throw to first, scooped out by Danny Reardon for the first out of the game. So Santana grounds out on the first pitch. That'll bring up Axel Nunez.
Now batting the shortstop, number 31, Axel Nunez.
Nunez playing shortstop, but as I was saying, Mike Gorzinski, he is the third baseman batting fifth. Ethan Doda is in right batting sixth. Josh Chambers in left batting seventh. Gian Ortiz is the DH. He bats eighth for the pitcher Tyler Baez. And Jacob Jaros is the first baseman batting ninth. Christian Petrillo's pitch, curve, misses outside for ball one. We'll get you our game time temperature here in just a moment. So glad you're with us at jamesisking.com. Also on Facebook, you'll see us under King James Radio Network, and on Twitter at King James Radio 1. And so Petrillo with his pitch. Fastball at the belt for a called strike. And the count is at 1-1. But yes, cloudy day here in Bridgewater with Route 287 in the backdrop. So Petrillo will come to the set, the 1-1. Swing and a foul back into the netting behind home plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes. But our game time temperature presented by the Weather Channel is mostly cloudy skies. 61 degrees at game time here on a Sunday morning in Bridgewater. They got the player pictures up and everything on the video board here at TD Bank Ballpark. But a ball and 2 strikes on Axel Nunez. Petrillo with his next pitch. Curve misses high. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And so Petrillo will go into his windup. The 2-2 swung, grounded under Petrillo's glove. Andrew Tan backing up the play over at short. Throws to first for the second out. So far, so good for Chich here. Couple of ground outs to short. 2 out, nobody on.
Now batting the second baseman, number 7, Elijah Colon.
So yes, that will bring up Elijah Colon. Colon is the second baseman. And he will bat right-handed against Petrillo. And so Petrillo will come to the set with his pitch. And it's in there for a called strike. 0-1. So, again, the Raiders trying to bounce back from, a tough game against Middlesex, losing 13-3 in 5 innings. Your next pitch, swinging a liner, going into right center field. And that will be a base hit. So Carteret with their first hit of the afternoon. Well, it will be afternoon soon enough. So Elijah Colon with a 2-out single.
The catcher, number 2, Brian App.
That brings up Brian App. His older brother Mike App graduated for Carteret, had an ERA, just a shade over 1 for the Ramblers last year. But App, a right-handed batter, as Petrillo holds the set. Now his pitch. Fastball misses outside for ball 1. But yeah, the Raiders, trying to keep it together. There's your next pitch. Fastball is in there for a called strike. And it's 1-1. We'll get you the defensive alignment for North Brunswick here. Danny Reardon is at first base. Dylan Glassman is the second baseman. Over at shortstop is Andrew Tan and Caleb Rodriguez at third, as Christian Petrillo will come to the set here on 1-1. Runner goes, and pitcher swung on a hit in the air down the right field line. Kelson Hobson going over and towards the line, makes the catch. Side retired. Just to finish up the defensive alignment, Nick Doan is in left. David Burrows in center. Kelson Hobson, you just heard from, he is in right. And Damian Ortiz is behind the plate with Christian Petrillo on the mound. All right, so Carteret does not score in the top of the first. No runs, a hit, no errors, and 1 man left. Middle of the first here at TD Bank Ballpark. And it's Carteret 0 and North Brunswick coming to bat. This is North Brunswick Raiders baseball on the King James Radio Network.
11 teens die every day as a result of texting and driving. According to a AAA poll, 94% of teen drivers acknowledge the dangers of texting and driving. 35% admitted to doing it anyway. 21% of teen drivers involved in fatal accidents were distracted by cell phones. For more information, visit nj.gov. This public service announcement is a message from the North Brunswick Police Department. Raiders Baseball on the King James Radio Network is presented by the North Brunswick Baseball and Softball Association at nbbsa.com and by Allstate Insurance Agent Hector Rodriguez, located at 892 Route 22 East in Somerville, New Jersey. Call Hector at 908-927-9200.
We come back now to the bottom of the first inning here at TD Bank Ballpark in Bridgewater, New Jersey, where the North Brunswick Raiders are taking on the Carteret Ramblers. And so Carteret did not score in their part of the first inning, so the Raiders will get their turn here. And again, on a 61-degree morning here in Bridgewater. Starting pitcher for Carteret is that is Tyler Baez is your starting pitcher. And so don't mind me, I'm just doing a little something here. Let me see. I'm trying to find the right page. I'm all out of sorts because for some reason I left my stat sheet at home. But Baez is a right-hander. And he will face this lineup for the Raiders. Leading off and playing second base is Dylan Glassman. Killer Rodriguez, the shortstop, bats second. Christian Petrillo is in center, batting third. Andrew Tan is in the cleanup spot at short. Danny Reardon at first, batting fifth. Damian Ortiz is the catcher, batting sixth. Kelson Hobson in right field, batting seventh. David Burrows, he is in center, batting eighth. And Nick Doan, he will bat ninth in left field. Glassman batting left-handed here against Baez. And so here we go. Baez winds and makes his first pitch. Fastball missing in the dirt for ball one. As far as Dylan goes, hitting at .385 on the season with 4 RBIs. So a very good year for Glassman. Next pitch from Baez misses outside for ball two. 2 balls and no strikes. So Baez with ball and glove into the wind, and the 2-0 is in there for a called strike. 2-1. Baez had an impressive freshman campaign, but the thing that's killed Carteret is the walks. As your next pitch, swinging a grounder over to third base, and right there at third base is Mike Gorzinski. Makes the throw to first to get Glassman 1 out. Defensive alignment here for the Ramblers, as Caleb Rodriguez will come up. We'll give you Caleb's numbers. Caleb hitting at .339 on the year. No homers, 8 runs driven in for the Raiders. But defensive alignment for Carteret, Jacob Jaros is at first base. Elijah Colon is the second baseman. Axel Nunez at short. And Mike Gorzinski over at third. As Baez with his pitch. Fastball at the knees for a called strike. 0-1 on Rodriguez. Over in left field is Josh Chambers. In center is Julian Santana. In right is Ethan Dota. And behind the plate is Brian App with Tyler Baez on the mound. So Baez into his wind, and his next pitch, curve, misses inside. 1 ball and a strike on Caleb Rodriguez. Caleb and Dylan at the top of the order. The 2 sophomores have really been impressive, in their, as Rodriguez swings and a chopper over to shortstop, picked up there by the shortstop, Axel Nunez. He makes the throw to first for the second out. So that will bring up Christian Petrillo.
The pitcher, number 3, Christian Petrillo.
Petrillo hitting at .369 on the year, no homers and 7 runs driven in. Chich with 24 hits, which leads the team. Right hand called strike, 0-1. We'll get you the dimensions here at TD Bank Ballpark when we have a second. As Baez with that Tim Lincecum type delivery as Chich grounds one over in the hole to short off the glove of the third baseman Gorzinski. And that'll be an E5 as Chich reaches.
Now batting
And
with
so,
shortstop, number 18, Andrew Tan.
so Carteret's first error of the day, and now here's Andrew Tan. Tan, of course, with that 7 RBI game, Tan hitting at 350 with 2 homers and 22 runs driven in, takes a first pitch fastball for a strike. 0-1. So Baez with a runner on first, which is Petrillo, who leads the team in stolen bases. Your next pitch. Fastball pop foul behind the plate into the seats. Just a little bit to my right, and as you can hear, the Patriots, they're not letting you keep the foul balls here today. Limited supply of baseballs here today, so all the baseballs will be returned. But no balls and 2 strikes here on Tan. Sparse crowd, of course, here on a Sunday morning. Your next pitch, curve, popped up, foul behind the plate. That's going to go into the seats. So still no balls and 2 strikes on Andrew Tan. I think it's probably a thrill for any of the kids just to catch a foul ball. Not necessarily looking to keep it, but just to catch one might be, the thrill. As Tan swings and grounds this one over to short, and going the short way to second base is the shortstop, Axel Nunez, side retired. So the Raiders get a man on, but do not score. So for North Brunswick, no runs, no hits, 1 error, and 1 left. After 1, here at TD Bank Ballpark, no score between North Brunswick and Carteret. We'll break. We'll come back with Raiders Baseball on the King James Radio Network.
Say hello to Dunkin's new honey vanilla flavored lattes. Brighten up your day with delicious, rich espresso, flavored with floral notes of honey and a sweet little hint of vanilla. It's like the sun just came out. Spring is in the air. Time to put a little sun in your cup. It's Dunkin's new honey vanilla flavored latte. Get yours hot or iced. America runs on Dunkin'. Price and participation may vary. Limited time offer.
We come back now to the top of the second inning here at TD Bank Ballpark in Bridgewater, New Jersey. 3 games being played today, 3 high school games being played here at TD Bank. So we'll tell you about the other 2 in just a moment. And we'll also get you the field dimensions here. As Carteret gets set here in the second inning, it'll be Mike Gerzinski, followed by Ethan Dota and Josh Chambers due up.
Leading off for Carteret, the third baseman, number 33, Mike
Gerzinski, a right-handed batter. As Christian Petrillo heads back out for inning number 2 here. As Chich with his pitch, and that one is in there for a called strike. So, Carteret, we mentioned that they lost Mike App, among others, to graduation. So having to do a little bit of a rebuild as Petrillo's pitch misses outside for ball 1. So a ball and a strike on Gerzinski. Gerzinski is a sophomore and a right-handed batter. So, Gerzinski part of the new youth movement, if you will, for the Ramblers. Next pitch, curve swung on, is grounded over the mound, going to short. Andrew Tanfields throws on the run to first, pulls Reardon off the bag, but he puts the tag on Gerzinski for the first out. So 1 out, nobody on, and that'll bring up right fielder Ethan Dota.
Now batting the right fielder, number 1, Ethan Dota.
So Dota is a senior. Carteret, even in rebuild mode, still, with a number of seniors on the roster. They have 8. But the Raiders have more than that. First pitch, fastball on the outside corner to Dota for strike 1. We mentioned Carteret, they started off 6-6, so they were at least treading water, but have lost their last 5 games. As Petrillo with his next pitch, fastball fouled back. No balls and 2 strikes on Dota. By the way, my thanks to Mark Schwartz and the Somerset Patriots for allowing us to come down and do the game today. So the count at 0-2 here on Dota. And again, this is Chich's first start of the season. And your next pitch, curve, just missed outside. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. As you might have heard the introductions before the game, the Raiders led by head coach Mark Blevins, assisted by Ray Lepsky, Michael Herman, and John Suck, as Chich lands that curveball over the outside corner for strike 3. That's his first strikeout of the day. 2 outs in the inning.
Now batting the left fielder, number 11, Josh Chambers.
So that'll bring up Josh Chambers, the left fielder. Chambers is a senior, batting left-handed here against Petrillo, so lefty against lefty. Petrillo with his pitch. Fastball at the knees for strike 1. So, of course, a lot of the signage here at TD Bank Ballpark, I was supposed to get you guys the field dimensions like an inning ago. As Petrillo's next pitch, swing and a foul off to the left. No balls and 2 strikes. I believe they will have maybe 1 concession stand open here at TD Bank Ballpark. It won't be the full Monty like you might see at a Somerset Patriots game. But it's 317 feet down the left field line, 402 to dead center. And then over in right, it's 315 feet. Curve swung on in line in the left center field. That's going to drop in for a base hit. So Josh Chambers gives Carteret their second hit of the game. Runner on first and 2 out. And Gian Ortiz will be the hitter.
Now batting the designated hitter, number 22, Gian Ortiz. Number 22.
Ortiz, batting right-handed. He is also a sophomore. We talked about Gerzinski before being a sophomore. Petrillo's pitch. Fastball missing outside, ball 1. You know, we mentioned Petrillo, a hard-throwing lefty, but this is his first start of the year. Normally comes out of the bullpen, primarily just because Mark Blevins really doesn't have another starter to go to right now. The Raiders had a busy week last week. Fastball misses inside. 2 balls and no strikes. And he's trying, Coach Blevins wants to save his top 2 starters, Danny Reardon and Stephen Malenko, for the next 2 days, which will be against Woodbridge, in trying to capture a share of the GMC White Division title. A swing and a miss at a fastball. 2-1 on Gian Ortiz. Danny Reardon 5-0 so far on the season for the Raiders. And so at the set here is Petrillo. And your next pitch. Swing and a miss at an off-speed. Gets away from Ortiz. Bounces away to his right. And heading down to second will be Chambers. So we'll call it a wild pitch. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Gian Ortiz. So a runner on second now for the Ramblers. 2-2 here with 2 out in the top of the second. No score. Petrillo looks back at second. Now his pitch. Fastball slice foul off to the right. So still 2-2 on Ortiz. But yeah, so Coach Blevins, trying to keep his top 2 pitchers in line to face Woodbridge, and then of course have all reserves at the ready if need be. So we'll see how long he goes with Petrillo here today, because you have the eligibility and all that. Is curve in there for a called strike 3, side retired. Petrillo throwing that curveball, able to get it over the plate at the belt. Second strikeout in the inning for Petrillo, and that will do it for Carteret in the second. For the Ramblers, no runs on 1 hit, no errors and 1 left. Middle of the second, here in Bridgewater, no score between North Brunswick and Carteret, so we will break and come back in just a moment with Raiders Baseball on the King James Radio Network. We come back now for the second inning, the bottom of the second inning. No score here between North Brunswick and Carteret. From TD Bank Ballpark in Bridgewater, New Jersey, home of the Somerset Patriots. So for the Raiders, it will be 5, 6, and 7 in the batting order here. Danny Reardon, Damian Ortiz, and Kelson Hobson are due up.
Leading off from North Brunswick, the first baseman, number 12, Danny Reardon.
We talked a little bit in the last half inning about Danny's exploits on the mound, but We haven't talked about Danny at the plate yet. Danny, one of the team leaders in hits as well, with 23. Well, he's one behind Christian Petrillo, but 3 homers, 18 RBIs, and a .359 batting average for Reardon. That .359 as first pitch misses inside for ball 1. Now, Dylan Glassman is at .385, but Reardon is second with that .359. The 1-0. Swing and a fly ball out to right. Coming in on it, now going back over towards the line, and almost got behind him was Ethan Doda, but he's able to hang on to make the catch for the first out. He actually had to leap to his left. He misjudged that a little bit, but he was able to compensate and make the catch for the first out. So that'll bring up Damian Ortiz.
Now batting the catcher, number 9, Damian Ortiz.
Ortiz hitting at .267 with 2 homers and 16 runs driven in. Damian has 16 hits on the year. Senior year for Damian. He and Danny Reardon both going to Rutgers Newark next year to be a part of the Scarlet Raiders. First pitch, fastball at the belt for a called strike from Baez, 0-1. I didn't get you to Tyler Baez's numbers here. We'll do that in a moment. We'll get you his pitching numbers on the season. Your next pitch, curve, hit foul, right side. And so it'll be 0-2 on Ortiz. So no balls and 2 strikes. Baez will go into his windup, and his next pitch, swing, and Ortiz just got a piece and fouled it back. Still 0-2. Yeah, Baez has that Tim Lincecum, type of delivery where he will, twist his back towards the plate, and then, come right at you with his delivery. So 0-2 on Ortiz. Baez winds, and his pitch, changeup, misses outside. 1-2 on Damian. Meanwhile, Tyler Baez on the season, 1-4 with a 5.35 ERA, 35 and a third innings pitched. Your pitch, curve, swung and a miss for strike 3, second out of the inning. So that's the first strikeout of the day for Baez. 2 out, and that'll bring up Kelson Hobson. Hobson, has really... Hobson has really, since the South Plainfield game that the Raiders played at home, has been on a power surge as he pops the first pitch up here, and it'll be in the infield. And who's going to call for it? No, it gets behind the second baseman, Elijah Colon, and Hobson will be at second base. It looked like nobody was going to get that thing. It was straight up in the infield behind the pitcher's mound. And Axel Nunez, the shortstop, and Elijah Colon both finally went for it. And Colon ended up overrunning it. And so Hobson is on. We'll call that an E4. So that'll bring up David Burrows. Your pitch, swing and a pop-up. Let's see who gets this one. This will be Jacob Jaros over at first base. He's got it. Side retired. Burrows has not had many at-bats for the Raiders this year. He'll play center field when Christian Petrillo was in there. But on the season before we go to break, Burrows so far is 0 for 6, now 0 for 7 on the year. So Burrows still looking for his first hit. We'll see if he gets it here today. But for the Raiders, no runs, no hits, 1 error, and 1 man left. End of 2. And it's no score between North Brunswick and Carteret. We'll break, and we'll come back with Raiders baseball on the King James Radio Network. Now we go to the top of the 3rd inning here at TD Bank Ballpark. No score between North Brunswick and Carteret here in our GMC crossover game. Again, the Raiders trying to get ready for Monday and Tuesday. So Jacob, I guess it is Jaraz. You when you see it, you think it's pronounced Jaros, but I've seen it a couple of times now where it's pronounced Jaraz. But we'll go with Jaraz. That's fine with me. Jaraz, a right-handed batter. And your pitch from Christian Petrillo is a fastball on the outside corner for strike 1. It is 9-1-2 in the batting order here for the Ramblers in the third. Petrillo's next pitch swung on a missed. He lunged out past the outer half for strike 2. So 0-2 on Jaraz. Jacob Jaraz is a senior for the Ramblers. Petrillo with his next pitch. Fastball just misses the outside corner. And the count at 1-2. So ball and 2 strikes. I'll give you Petrillo's numbers here. As your next pitch, just missed. A little low. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Jaraz. Coming into today, Christian Petrillo 1-1 with a 5.25 ERA. And I think that's primarily because of the walks. And so Chich just trying to cut down on that. 2-2. Swung on and popped up. Right side foul ground. Danny Reardon over towards the Carteret dugout. Makes the catch before he hits that fence for the first out. So good job by Danny of sticking with that one. 1 out and back to the top of the order for Carteret and Julian Santana.
Now batting the center fielder, number 12, Julian Santana.
Santana grounded out to short his first time up. But yeah, Chich 1-1 with a 5.25 ERA. Let's see, 22. Check that. 13 in the third innings pitched, 13 hits. Fastball misses high for ball 1. 13 walks and 11 strikeouts. Now Chich has not walked a batter yet here today, so far so good. As Petrillo with his 1-0. And changeup misses outside, ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes on Julian Santana. And Petrillo with his 2-0. Fastball low in the dirt, ball 3. So now falling behind 3 balls and no strikes. I might have put the jinx on Chich here. I don't know. I said he hadn't walked anybody, and now he's falling behind 3-0 on Santana. That's Petrillo at the set here. And the 3-0. And outside, ball 4. 4-pitch walk to Santana. And he is on first base with 1 out for Carteret, and Axel Nunez will come to the plate.
Now batting the shortstop, number 41, Axel Nunez.
Nunez grounded out to short his first time up. Nunez, a right-handed batter. He is a junior. Petrillo snap throw to first. Diving back is Santana. Now Santana's a freshman, earning the leadoff spot at the top of the order for Mark Domashinsky. Petrillo at the set, and his pitch. Swing and a miss. It goes to the backstop, and down to second will be Santana. I wasn't sure if that was fouled off or missed. Home plate umpire says it was a swing and miss, so it goes to the backstop. That'll be a pass ball, putting Santana at second. No balls and a strike on Axel Nunez. The Raiders dugout is on the third base side as the home team. Carteret, of course, on the first base side. Petrillo at the set. And your next pitch. Curve swung on a missed. 0-2 on Axel Nunez. So no balls and 2 strikes. 1 out here in the top of the third. No score. The Ramblers do have a runner on second here. And again, 1 of 3 games today at TD Bank Ballpark. The other 2 will bring you here in just a second. That's Petrillo with his next pitch. Swung on and hit foul right side out of play. So still 0-2 on Axel Nunez. The other 2 games that are being played here at TD Bank Ballpark today will be Edison against J.P. Stevens. And that's actually a GMC Red game. So, I think this is the first time where they have actually started playing, the GMC has started playing divisional games here at TD Bank Ballpark. Usually it'll be a crossover game or a non-conference game, some type of showcase or whatever. As Petrillo with his next pitch, swing and a miss. No, foul tip. Hits the ground. 0-2 still on Nunez. But I think this is really the first time that they started doing, divisional games that will matter more than your crossover game or your non-conference game. So Edison against J.P. Stevens is up next after this game at 2 o'clock. Woodbridge in a crossover game against Perth Amboy at 5 o'clock. Curve swung on and missed. Ortiz drops it for strike 3. He'll have to throw it down to first. High throw. Pulls Reardon off the back. Steps back on it. But that allows Santana to move over to third.
Now batting the second baseman, number 7, Elijah Cologne.
So
Number 7.
count the strikeout 2-3 on the putout. Moving over to third is Santana. There's 2 outs in the inning, and Elijah Cologne at the plate. Cologne singled his first time up in the first inning. But those are the 3 games here today. This one here, Edison and J.P. Stevens at 2, and then Woodbridge against Perth Amboy at 5. Your pitch from Petrillo. Fastball at the knees for strike 1. 0-1 on Cologne. Now, there were also games here, over the last 2 days. South Plainfield beat Dunellen 5-0 here yesterday. As Petrillo with his next pitch, swing and a high foul ball going right side. Danny Reardon gives chase, but it's in the seats. About 5 rows back. 0-2 on Elijah Cologne. But yeah, there was a baseball game here Friday night, which I have to get a final score for. And I will do that in short order. But the count 0-2. Petrillo's pitch swung on as a high pop-up behind the plate. Ortiz gives chase, but that's going to be in the seats about 5 rows back. So still no balls and 2 strikes on Elijah Cologne. So again, Carteret threatening here with a runner at third. 2 out in the top of the third. No score here between North Brunswick and Carteret. And your next pitch. Swinging a grounder, foul, third base line. And actually, Julian Santana had to duck out of the way coming down that line. He was in foul territory, but just for safety purposes probably. Having to get out of there. So still 0-2 on Cologne. As Petrillo with his next pitch, swung on, this is hit high in the air out to left field. Nick Doan going over towards the line. He makes the catch, side retired. We'll get you that Rahway Linden game on the other side of the break that was played here on Friday night. But in the meantime, for Carteret, no runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 man left at third base. We have played 2.5 here at TD Bank Ballpark. No score between North Brunswick and Carteret. We will break. And we will come back in just a moment with Raiders Baseball on the King James Radio Network.
11 teens die every day as a result of texting and driving. According to a AAA poll, 94% of teen drivers acknowledge the dangers of texting and driving. 35% admitted to doing it anyway. 21% of teen drivers involved in fatal accidents were distracted by cell phones. For more information, visit nj.gov. This public service announcement is a message from the North Brunswick Police Department. This broadcast is a production of the King James Radio Network, which is solely intended for the private use of its listening audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this audio transmission without the written permission or consent from the King James Radio Network is strictly prohibited.
Bottom of the third inning.
Now batting the left fielder, number 10, Nick Doan.
And as you hear, Nick Doan makes his way to the plate. Doan is a senior, hitting at an even 200 with 4 RBIs on the year. Left-handed batter, squares the bunt, does not offer, but the pitch is a strike from Tyler Baez. 0-1 on Doan. So Baez, of course, back out for inning. And a line drive foul right side. And the count now will be 0-2 on Doan. And of course, Doan, whenever he sees Piscataway, he becomes a different guy. But trying to get a hit here at TD Bank Ballpark. Kerr swung on and popped up in the short center field, charging all the way in, but going out is Cologne to make the catch. Santana came all the way in, but Cologne went all the way out and made sure he had this one put away for the first out. That'll bring it back to the top of the order. And Dylan Glassman. Glassman grounded out to third base his first time up. But if I didn't give you Tyler Baez's numbers, I believe I did. Yeah, I did. 1-4, 5.35 ERA, 35 in the third innings pitched, 50 hits, 9 walks, 24 strikeouts coming into today. First pitch misses outside for ball one. But, for Carteret, really the walks have been what have hurt them. Carteret has 66 walks on the year. As that one is in for a called strike to count at 1-1 on Glassman. Your next pitch is curve missing outside. So 2 balls and a strike on Dylan Glassman. Carteret has I believe 107 innings pitched and 66 walks. They have 9 point. I'll tell you in a minute as Glassman slices one foul to the left. 2 balls and 2 strikes. But their ratio is 9.4 walks per 7 innings. And I think that's what's been killing the Ramblers here is, now Baez doesn't have that problem. He's only walked 9 in 35 1/3. But, as a staff, as his next pitch, swung on and hit, going out to left, down the line, going over to try to get it. It gets past Josh Chambers, heading towards foul ground on the line. Glassman going for 2. Chambers' throw will not make it to second in time. And Dylan Glassman with a bloop double going down that left field line. Dylan going the other way with 2 strikes. And Glassman has really, hit well for the Raiders this year. Closing in on 400.
The third baseman, number 11, Caleb Rodriguez.
Here's Caleb Rodriguez. Caleb grounded out to third his first time up. Rodriguez, a right-handed batter. And your pitch swung on, and this is hit going out to right center field. Dota over and trying to make the diving catch of Santana. Can't get it. Glassman had to wait. He goes to third. So Caleb follows up Glassman's hit with a hit of his own. Seems like there's quite a bit of miscommunication with the Carteret fielders. But that puts runners at first and third with 1 out and Christian Petrillo at the plate. Petrillo reached on an error his first time up. So the Raiders threatening here with a chance to break the ice. First pitch from Baez. Fastball on the outside corner for strike 1. So Chich, a right-handed batter. Throws left, bats right. And you're 0-1. Fastball hit out to right field. Dota charging in. Will he get there? He does. Tagging from third is Glassman. Dota's throw to the plate will not be in time. Glassman slides in. He scores. And the Raiders lead it 1-0 on an RBI sacrifice fly from Christian Petrillo. Dota was not in a good position to make a throw there. Caleb Rodriguez holds at first. 2 out in the inning, and here's Andrew Tan. Tan hit into a fielder's choice his first time up. Your first pitch from Baez, curve, and misses inside, ball 1. So the Raiders are on the board here at 1-0. Your next pitch, fastball hit past third base. Going down the left field line, going into the corner. Rodriguez at second. He's at third. Mark Blevins is going to send him. The throw will come in from Nunez. No throw from Nunez. Caleb Rodriguez scoring from first. It's an RBI double for Andrew Tan. 2-0 North Brunswick. Ground ball past Mike Gorzinski over at third base.
Now batting the first baseman, number 12, Danny Reardon. Number 12.
So Tan with the RBI. RBI number 23 on the season for Tan. RBI number 8 for Petrillo on the sac fly. First pitch to Danny Reardon, a curve. Reardon flied out to left his first time up. So the Raiders with 2 here in the third. And Baez with his 0-1. In the dirt, blocked, but away from Brian App, and that'll allow Tan to get over to third. That one bouncing to the right of App. So a wild pitch sends Tan to third. A ball and a strike on Danny Reardon. And your next pitch from Baez, swing and a foul ball right side out of play. And the count at 1-2 on Danny Reardon. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. And Baez with his pitch, curve, popped up. Baez is going to call for it right on the pitcher's mound. Now he'll step in front of it and makes the catch. Side retired. So the Raiders do get 2. 2 runs on 3 hits. There were no errors and 1 man left. End of 3 here at TD Bank Ballpark, and the Raiders now have a 2-0 lead. So we'll break. We'll come back with North Brunswick Raiders baseball on the King James Radio Network. We go now to the top of the 4th inning here at TD Bank Ballpark on a Sunday edition of Raiders baseball on the King James Radio Network. By the way, Restoration Place we will have a new episode of Restoration Place tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern Time at jamesisking.com. Some way, somehow. Somehow we'll do it. In the meantime, it'll be 4, 5, and 6 in the batting order here for Carteret.
The catcher, number 2,
Brian App, Mike Gorzinski, and Ethan Doda are due up. App flied out to right his first time up. Christian Petrillo back out for inning number 4 here. And your pitch. Fastball is on the inside corner for strike 1. 0-1 on App. So far for Chich, 3 innings, 2 hits, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts for Petrillo. So no balls and a strike. And your next pitch. Fastball missing outside. And the count at 1-1 on App. So the 1-1 from Petrillo. Curve drops in for strike 2. Last year, Petrillo was 1-2 on the year. He only pitched 9 2/3 innings last year. And your next pitch, fastball misses high. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Brian App. Christian Petrillo, Andrew Tan, who pitched on Friday, those guys don't really pitch all that often. Petrillo more so than Tan. Your next pitch, popped up in the infield. They'll have room here. It'll be off the mound. Petrillo cutting in front of Caleb Rodriguez to make the catch for the first out. Petrillo coming all the way from the mound over into foul ground on the third base side. Plenty of room in foul territory here.
Number 33, Mike Gorzinski.
Mike Gorzinski grounded out to short his first time up. But yeah, as far as Chich goes on the mound, first pitch drops in for a called strike. 0-1. Chich's only win last year came in relief. That was the 9-8 game against Piscataway where Nick Doan got the game-winning hit. Swing and a miss. No balls and 2 strikes on Gorzinski. No balls, 2 strikes, 1 out here in the top of the 4th. Petrillo with his pitch. Fastball misses high. And the count at 1-2. Petrillo came in relief of Danny Reardon that day. Reardon went the first 6 2/3 innings. And then Petrillo, pitched the top of the 7th and got the final out as fastball misses low. 2 balls and 2 strikes. He came in relief of Reardon in the top of the 7th. Got the final out, which allowed the Raiders to win the game in the bottom of the 7th. Your 2-2 pitch, curve, slow grounder, foul, third base side. And it's still 2 balls and 2 strikes. Let's see, in Petrillo's only other, last year, his only other decision, as this one is swung on and hit high in the air out to left field, but Nick Doan back a few steps. He makes the catch. for the second out. So 2 out, nobody on. And Ethan Doda will come to the plate. Actually, this is where we cue the public address.
The right fielder, number 1, Ethan Doda.
Doda struck out looking his first time up. But Chich's only other decision last year came in a 8-6 loss to Middlesex. Your pitch, swing and a miss, 0-1. That day, Petrillo got the start. He pitched 5 innings, allowed 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 4 walks, and 2 strikeouts. He had 2 RBI at the plate that day. 0-1, fastball outside. Count at 1-1 on Ethan Doda. So again, not many appearances on the mound for Chich. But again, as a quarterback for the football team, he's got the arm. And you're 1-1. Swing and a foul straight back. Count at 1-2 now on Ethan Doda. We're in the top of the 4th. 2 out, nobody on here at TD Bank Ballpark in Bridgewater. The Raiders hope to play again here later on in the month of May for the GMC Championship game. The seedings for the GMC tournament will be out on Tuesday. 1-2. Curve hits him. Hit him in the left leg, it looked like. And so Doda will trot down to first. So first hit batter. So Doda on first, and that'll bring up Josh Chambers.
Number 11, Josh Chambers.
Chambers singled his first time up. Oh yeah, that Rahway Linden game I was telling you guys about. They played it here on Friday night. Rahway beat Linden 6-2 here on Friday night. South Plainfield beating Denellen 5-0 last night here at TD Bank Ballpark. But again, 3 games being played here today. Rahway's, that game went 10 innings on Friday. As this one has popped up left field. Nick Doan going over is Caleb Rodriguez. It'll fall into the stands there, maybe on the berm out there along that left field line, out of play. No balls and a strike on Josh Chambers. But on Friday night here at TD Bank Ballpark, it was Rahway and Linden. The game went 10 innings. Rahway scored 4 runs in the top of the 10th to beat Linden 6-2. And so at the set here is Petrillo. Runner goes, pitches in there. No, it's not a strike. Throw down to second. Tan with the tag, not in time. I always get tongue-tied with Tan with the tag. But Tan's tag, not in time. Chambers has a stolen, check that, Doda has a stolen base. It's 1-1 on Josh Chambers. I don't know where that pitch missed at, but apparently it missed somewhere. So runner on second. Petrillo with the 1-1. Curve misses inside. 2 balls and a strike on Chambers. But yeah, the GMC tournament starts next week. The play-in round begins on Thursday. The Raiders won't have to deal with the play-in round. I don't think Carteret will either, despite their recent struggles. And your next pitch from Petrillo, swung on and hit out the left field. Nick Doan going over towards the line and makes a running catch. Side retired. A running basket catch from Doan. And so that will do it for Carteret in the 4th. So for the Ramblers, no runs, no hits, 1 hit batter, no errors, 1 left. Middle of the 4th here at TD Bank Ballpark. And the Raiders lead it by a score of 2-0. We'll break, and we'll come back with Raiders Baseball on the King James Radio Network. Yes, Raiders Baseball on the King James Radio Network, presented by the North Brunswick Baseball and Softball Association at nbbsa.com. My thanks to President Dave Rosenberg, Vice President John Kukler for their support. All the board members of the NBBSA, John Tan and Scott Glassman and a ton of folks at the NBBSA. John Drury, former vice president, still on the board of directors. Also, Hector Rodriguez at Allstate. Give Hector a call at 908-927-9200 if you need a bundled package, whatever whatever Hector can do for you, and give him a call. But for the Raiders, it'll be 6, 7, and 8 in the batting order here in the bottom of the 4th.
Now batting, the catcher, number 9, Damian Ortiz.
Damian Ortiz struck out swinging his first time up. And so Tyler Baez is back out, and his first pitch is fastball missing high, 4-1. And again, it's been a good year for Ortiz with a couple of homers, including a game winner back in April against Sayreville. Next pitch, fastball outside in an extra inning game. 2 balls and no strikes on Ortiz. Now I was messing with Kelson Hobson, who is on deck about hitting a home run here at TD Bank Ballpark in our post-game interview that we did earlier in the week, as this one is swung off the end of the bat, grounded foul right side of the Carteret dugout. 2 balls and a strike on Ortiz. Yeah, I was messing with him about because Kelson's a big, strong guy. You know, if you ever seen Kelson like with no sleeves or whatever. Of course, now his dad Dennis is a professional bodybuilder, so he runs in the family. But I think he's got enough muscle to hit one out of here. I think pound for pound, Kelson's probably the strongest guy on the team. Your next pitch, Ortiz swings and a fly ball left field line and foul ground, and over to make the catch is Josh Chambers for the first out. So here is Kelson Hobson. Hobson reached on an error his first time up.
Now batting the right fielder, number 14, Kelson Hobson.
Raiders have 2 runs on 3 hits, no errors. Carteret, no runs, 2 hits, and 2 errors. As Baez with his pitch. Fastball at the knees for a called strike. 0-1. But for Hobson, I started to say this before he came up, previously. 4 home runs in the Raiders' last 10 games. Curve drops in for strike 2. And it's 0-2 on Hobson. But yeah, 4 homers in 10 games for Kelson. And Baez with the 0-2. Swing and a liner foul left side. Still 0-2 on Hobson. One of the unique characteristics of this ballpark is, Route 287 in the backdrop. You see all the cars going back and forth along the highway. There's a parking lot behind the fence here. The 0-2. Swing and a slow grounder foul. Hobson just getting a piece of that, reaching out over the plate for it. So still 0-2. Of course, Kelson's younger sister, Sydney Hobson, and the Lady Raiders softball team finishing up their regular season a couple of days ago, awaiting their fate in the GMC tournament as well. 0-2. Swing and a fly ball out to center field. Santana back, drifting back. Looks like he's under it. Makes the catch for the second out. Might have got Hobson in on the hands a little bit there. 2 out, nobody on. And David Burrows will come up. Burrows popped out to first, his first time up.
Now batting for the Raiders, the center fielder, number 7, David Burrows.
Of course, here at TD Bank Ballpark, you have all of the signage along the outfield fence listing all of the different sponsors. And your pitch from Baez. Fastball in there for strike 1, 0-1 on Burrows, including the New Jersey lottery signs. And well as a bunch of others. Your next pitch. And this is inside. 1 ball and a strike. I haven't played the lottery I probably played it once in the last, I don't know how many years. As curve misses low from Baez. 2 balls and a strike on David Burrows. Baez winds and the 2-1. This is in the dirt. 3 balls and a strike on Burrows. Of course, they have the faded Patriots logo behind home plate. They'll probably, brush that up for the next Somerset Patriots home game. And the 3-1. Swing, and this is going into left center field. That's going to be a base hit. And David Burrows comes up with his first hit of the season. As a matter of fact, that is the first varsity base hit for Burrows. So congrats to David Burrows. That'll bring up Nick Doan. That's the 4th hit of the day for the Raiders, by the way. Nick Doan popped out to second his first time up. And first pitch, fastball misses inside for ball 1. Remember we talked last inning after Burrows at bat After he popped out the first about, maybe he'd get a hit here today. Well, what better place to get your first varsity hit, right? TD Bank Ballpark. Your next pitch. Fastball inside. 2-0 on Nick Doan.
Now batting number 6, John Kukler.
All right, check that. I should have known something was up when I saw a right-handed hitter up. John Kukler, pinch hitting in Nick Doan's spot. Kukler, a right-handed batter. He's ahead of the count 2-0. Fastball from Baez misses outside for ball 3. 3 balls and no strikes. Kukler is hitting at an even 300 now. He is 3 for 10 on the year. No homers, 2 runs driven in. Your pitch from Baez is at the knees for a called strike, so 3-1 on Kukler. The last appearance Kukler made was on the mound on Friday against Middlesex. The 3-1. Fastball outside, ball 4. That'll send Burrows down to second. Kukler on first.
Now batting the second baseman, number 1, Dylan Glassman.
Dylan Glassman will come to the plate with the Raiders having runners at first and second here and 2 out. Glassman is 1 for 2. He doubled down the left field line his last time up. So we've got Burrows at second, Kukler at first. Your pitch from Baez, swinging a grounder, going back to the mound, and Baez getting off the mound to his left field and underhands to first to get Glassman's side retired. So the Raiders threaten, but do not score in the 4th. For North Brunswick, no runs, a hit, no errors, and 2 left. End of 4 here at TD Bank Ballpark, and the Raiders lead it by a score of 2-0. We'll break. We'll come back with Raiders baseball on the King James Radio Network. We go now to the top of the 5th inning here at TD Bank Ballpark. Raiders baseball on the King James Radio Network at jamesisking.com. You'll also see us on Facebook under King James Radio Network and on Twitter at King James Radio 1. Our 7th season of Raiders baseball, and of course my thanks to the coaching staff, as well as the administration, athletic director Michael Lucarelli. So Carteret will be up here in the 5th. Gian Ortiz will start things off for the Ramblers here. Ortiz struck out looking his first time up. Christian Petrillo's pitch, swing and a miss. Had a fastball on the outer half, 0-1. 8, 9, and 1 in the batting order here for the Ramblers in the 5th. And I think Mark Blevins is going to let Chich go for as long as he can. You're 0-1. Fastball, hit foul, right side, out of play. Off the pavilion there to the right of us here at TD Bank Ballpark. It's 0-2. Slight wind, slight breeze. Look like going out towards right field. And the 0-2. Curve, line, past Andy Reardon, and it trickles away from him going down the right field line. Picked up by Glassman, but no throw to first. And so Ortiz with a hard single. Reardon tried to make the dive for it along the first base line, but just off the glove. And so that'll go as a hit. That is the 3rd hit for the Ramblers. And Jacob Jaraz will come to the plate. Jaraz popped out to first. His first time up. Petrillo at the set. And his pitch. Fastball on the outside corner. Strike 1.
Fans pinch hitting, number 21, Colin Siliski.
All right. Mark Domashitsky going to his bench. Colin Siliski will pinch hit for the Ramblers. Throw over to first. And diving back is Ortiz. So no balls and a strike on Siliski. Your next pitch, swing and a miss. And the count now at 0-2. Now, whether it's just to get guys into the game or if, the coach actually feels that the person he's, using has a chance to do something here. His throw to first. They got him leaning. Nope, getting back was Ortiz. They had him leaning towards second, but Ortiz just gets back. Meanwhile, Soliski, he is a freshman. So again, you got a group of freshmen and sophomores here on Carteret as they try to rebuild their program. And Petrillo's next pitch, swing and a miss. Threw the fastball by him there for strike 3. And that is the first out of the inning. Third strikeout. Check that, fourth strikeout for Chich. So 1 out. And Julian Santana will come to the plate. Santana grounded out to short and walked, which was his last time up. So Petrillo with his pitch in the dirt, blocked by Ortiz, used the chest protector there to keep that one in front of him. It's ball 1. And Damien's done a really good job of using his chest protector, letting the ball bounce off of there, keeping it in front of him, not trying to lay it to the side or anything like that. And Petrillo's next pitch, fastball in there for a called strike, and it's 1-1 on Santana. We mentioned Carteret's lost their last 5 games. I'll give you the scores. And then you guys can be the judge after that. Throw over to first, and diving back is Ortiz. But it started on April 26th against Bishop Bar. They lost to the Trojans 6-4 in a Blue Division game. As this one is hit on the ground foul, and it hit the batter Santana in the batter's box, so it'll be 1-2 on Julian Santana. Here in the top of the 5th, 1 out, 1 on for the Ramblers. Raiders lead it 2-0. But yeah, Carteret lost the second of a home and home to Bishop Bar 6-4. And then 4 days later lost to Metuchen 6-1. The next day, May 1st, looked like a curve missing high to Santana. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Lost to Metuchen 9-8. And then lost to South River 17-9. And then lost to J.P. Stevens 12-5. So that's 29 runs allowed in the last 2 games. Your next pitch. Fastball hit on the ground. Third base. Killer Rodriguez has it. Goes to second for 1. Glassman to first. Stretched by Reardon. Double play. Side retired. Around the horn with a 5-4-3 double play for the Raiders infield. And that'll do it for Carteret in the 5th inning. For the Ramblers, no runs, a hit, no errors, nobody left. We have played 4.5 here in Bridgewater at TD Bank Ballpark. The Raiders lead it by a score of 2-0. We'll break. We'll come back with Raiders Baseball on the King James Radio Network.
The King James Radio Network is now accepting inquiries this summer to broadcast games on our King James Jr. channel. If you have a youth baseball, basketball, or football game in the state of New Jersey that you want to be heard on the air, please send an email to kingjamesradio1@gmail.com with the date and time that you're looking for, and we'll let you know if we can make it. Inquiries are not guaranteed to be accepted based on a combination of availability and first come, first serve. We look forward to broadcasting your game on King James Jr., a channel of the King James Radio Network at jamesisking.com.
This message is for all of you sitting in the passenger seat. And apologies if it gets a little uncomfortable, but how does it feel to be at the mercy of someone who thinks a random text is more important than your life? Someone who takes their eyes off the road while speeding along in a 3-ton hunk of steel. Freaky, right? Well, why not just ask them to stop? Or better yet, volunteer to text for them. It might be a little awkward, but believe me, you'll live.
Learn more at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
We go now to the bottom of the 5th inning here, as it is 2-0 North Brunswick against Carteret here at TD Bank Ballpark.
Now batting for the Raiders, the third baseman, number 11, Caleb Rodriguez.
So yes, Caleb Rodriguez will be up. It'll be 2, 3, and 4 in the batting order here for the Raiders. Rodriguez is 1 for 2, singled his last time up. And Tyler Baez with his first pitch, and it's on the inside corner for strike 1. Both pitchers, pitched well. Carteret's defense has not exactly helped Baez out with a couple of early errors. And his next pitch, curve, misses inside. 1 ball and a strike on Rodriguez. Of course, the Raiders trying to get to their 14th win of the season. Your next pitch. Fastball fouled back by Caleb. It's a ball and 2 strikes. But if the Raiders were to win today for their 14th win of the season, it would be their highest win total since 2010. And your next pitch, swing, and this is a line drive going out to left field, but coming in to make the running catch is Josh Chambers for the first out. So 1 out, nobody on. And Christian Petrillo at the plate. Chich with an RBI sac fly back in the 3rd inning.
Now batting the pitcher, number 3, Christian Petrillo.
So officially, Chich is 0 for 1. But if the Raiders do get their 14th win of the season today, highest win total since 2010, which in 2010 is Baez with his pitch. Swing and foul back coming this way. Off to the roof and over us. And back on to the bleacher section. No balls and a strike. But the Raiders, the last time they won 14 or more games, 2010, they had 17 wins that year. Next pitch, curve, misses outside. 1 ball and a strike. And, of course, that was under the previous head coach, Ryan Lillis. The Raiders were 17-13 that year, and they made it to the GMC Tournament Finals, the championship game. Fastball misses inside. 2 balls and a strike. And that was, a back-to-back finals appearance. The Raiders also made it in 2009 and 2010 to the finals. Your next pitch from Baez. Fastball up high, ball 3. 3 balls and a strike on Christian Petrillo. The Raiders lost to St. Joe's in the finals in 2009 and then lost to South Brunswick in the finals in 2010. The Raiders were down 4-2 in the 6th inning of that game. Next pitch, fastball high, ball 4. Petrillo draws the walk. And that is the first walk of the game for Tyler Baez. So he is on first.
Now batting the shortstop, number 18, Andrew Tan.
Actually, check that second walk of the game. Second walk of the game for Baez. He walked John Kukler back in the 4th inning. So Petrillo is on first. Andrew Tan up. Tan with an RBI double. His last time up. Also hit into a fielder's choice, so 1 for 2. Baez with his pitch. Fastball hit high in the air out to left. Chambers back going over towards the line. He's under it and makes the catch for the out. Going back to first is Petrillo. 2 out, runner at first. And Danny Reardon will come to the plate. Reardon is 0 for 2. He has flied out to left and popped out to the pitcher.
Now batting the first baseman, number 12, Danny Reardon. Number 12.
And, as I was saying about the 2010 season, that championship game that they played over at East Brunswick Tech, as throw over to first, Petrillo dives back. I remember doing that game. Now, this is, pre-King James Radio Network days. The network hadn't really gotten off the ground yet. That wasn't until 2011. So I was doing the games for the baseball team independently. And a fastball at the knees from Baez for strike 1 on Reardon here, 0-1. And the game, the finals, at that time were held over at East Brunswick Tech. And so the Raiders were down 4-2. Throw over to first. Petrillo scampers back to the bag. But the Raiders were down 4-2 in the 6th inning of that game. South Brunswick, against Placido Torres and others, scored 5 runs in that 6th inning. As Reardon hits this one out to right center field into the gap. This one is going to go towards the fence. Petrillo around third. Mark Blevins will send him. Petrillo will score easily. Danny Reardon has himself an RBI double, and the Raiders lead it 3-0. Reardon continuing to hit the baseball. RBI number 19 on the season for Danny.
Number 9, Damian Ortiz.
Damian Ortiz will come to the plate.
Number 9.
Ortiz is 0 for 2. He has struck out swinging and flied out to left. Baez with his pitch. Swinging a liner. Fair ball, third base line. Heading into the corner. Reardon will score easily. Ortiz, he'll make it to second. Back-to-back doubles from Reardon and Ortiz. 4-0. North Brunswick. First pitch, Ortiz saw a low fastball, took it down the left field line past Gerzinski over at the third base bag. RBI number 17 for Damian Ortiz. Will get a courtesy runner here for the catcher. Looks like Sean Berhini is going to go ahead and run. Sean Berhini will run for Ortiz at second base. Here's Kelson Hobson. Hobson is 0 for 2. First pitch, swing and a miss. A little out in front, 0-1. Had a chance to see Kelson at McDonald's the other night. It's funny who you run into, when you're out and about. You're 0-1. Curve, check, swing, grounder, foul, first base side. It's 0-2. Hobson there with a few of his friends, probably the many legions of friends that he has. But Kelson, he's on his way to the Marines. If you heard our postgame interview with Kelson earlier in the week, he's on his way to the Marines after he graduates in June. And your next pitch, fastball hit out to left field, Chambers back. This could be over his head, and it is. It drops. Or did he make the catch? No, he made the catch. Okay. I saw Mark Blevins waving Berhini, but Chambers made a running catch, over the shoulder catch. So impressive catch there for Chambers. Side retired. That robs Hobson of an extra base hit. So the Raiders, they do score 2 runs on 2 hits. There were no errors and 1 man left. So end of the 5th here in Bridgewater. And the Raiders lead it by a score of 4-0. We'll break. We'll come back with Raiders Baseball on the King James Radio Network.
Say hello to Dunkin's new honey vanilla flavored lattes. Brighten up your day with delicious, rich espresso, flavored with floral notes of honey and a sweet little hint of vanilla. It's like the sun just came out. Spring is in the air. Time to put a little sun in your cup. It's Dunkin's new honey vanilla flavored latte. Get yours hot or iced. America runs on Dunkin'. Price and participation may vary. Limited time offer.
We go now to the top of the 6th inning. And one noticeable change in the field for the Raiders. Jesse Gibbons is now playing first base for North Brunswick. Looks like everyone else stays the same. Now, Danny Reardon started to walk out to the North Brunswick bullpen, which would be down the left field line, as if he was going to warm up. Looks like he's just waiting for Alex Bursack, the catcher, to go down there and join him. But it looks like Danny's going to start warming up here. He might come into this game. Meanwhile, Christian Petrillo back out for his 6th inning. First pitch fastball misses outside to Axel Nunez for ball 1. So for Carteret, it'll be 2, 3, and 4 in the batting order. Axel Nunez, Elijah Colon, and Brian App are due up. As Petrillo with his next pitch, fastball at the knees for a called strike. It's 1-1 on Nunez, who's 0 for 2. He has grounded out to short and struck out swinging. Nunez, a right-handed batter. And Petrillo with his pitch. Changeup, swung on and missed. 1-2 on Nunez. So the Raiders lead at 4-0 here in the 6th inning. North played here at TD Bank Ballpark last year against Woodbridge, but they had the unfortunate distinction of facing Harry Rutkowski that day. Your next pitch, swinging a line drive at first base. Caught by Gibbons for the first out. So 1 out, nobody on.
Now batting for the Ramblers, the second baseman, number 7, Elijah Colon.
Elijah Colon, 1 for 2, singled and flied out to left. So Petrillo with his pitch, fastball, pop, foul behind the plate. That's going to be out of play into the seats. Just a shade in front of me here. Oh, no balls and a strike on Colon.
To either the first or third base dugouts. Once again, Please return all foul balls to either the first or third base dugouts. Thank you.
Yes, please return all foul balls. No balls and a strike. As Petrillo with his pitch. Fastball in there for strike 2. 0-2 on Cologne. But last year at TD Bank Ballpark, the Raiders faced Woodbridge. The 0-2. Curve misses outside. 1-2 on Elijah Cologne. That was on April 9th last year. Woodbridge won that game 3-0. Harry Rutkowski, had his usual whale of a day. Fastball missing low. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And, thankfully for the Raiders, Rutkowski is now pitching at Rutgers. But that day, the Raiders got 3 hits off of Rutkowski, and that was it. Harry went 6 2/3 innings and struck out 12. Your next pitch. Swing and a fly ball down the right field line. Burrows out. Hobson in. It's Hobson making the catch for the second out. But yeah, Sean Berhini got a hit that day. Joe Caligiuri, if I'm correct, got a hit that day. But not much else.
Now batting, the catcher, number 2, Brian App.
Brian App is up.
Number 2.
He's 0 for 2. He is flied out to right and popped out to the pitcher. But Danny Reardon took the loss that day. He went 5 innings, allowed only 4 hits. Curve from Petrillo misses high for ball 1. 5 innings pitched for Reardon that day. 4 hits, 2 runs. None of those runs were earned. 3 walks, no strikeouts. So Danny in a gallant effort there last year against Rutkowski. But your next pitch. Fastball missing low. 2 balls and no strikes on Brian App. Chich, and again, we talked about it a couple of times during the course of the season. The main issue with Chich on the mound was just the walks, but he's only walked 1 today through the first 5 2/3 here. Next pitch. Fastball at the knees for a called strike. 2-1 on Brian App. But the Raiders coming off of their first 5-game winning streak since 2010. And the 2-1. Swing and a grounder back to Petrillo in front of the mound. He's got it. He'll make the throw to first. Side retired. And so Christian Petrillo with 6 shutout innings. And for the first time today, Carteret goes in order 1, 2, 3. Nothing across for the Ramblers. We have played 5.5 here at TD Bank Ballpark. And the Raiders lead it by a score of 4-0. We'll be back with Raiders Baseball on the King James Radio Network. Bottom of the 6th inning. The Raiders with a 4-0 lead here over Carteret, trying to get their 14th win of the season. And again, it'll be the first time in 8 years that the Raiders would have 14 wins. Just to have a little fun with it. Now, the most wins that the Raiders have ever had in a season would be 18. But that was in 20 wins. They had one season where they won 20 games. That was back in 1983. So can the Raiders win 20 games? That's a whole nother conversation. But it will be 8-9-1 in the batting order. David Burrows up first. And Tyler Baez throws a fastball at the knees for strike 1. Burrows is 1 for 2, singled for his first varsity hit his last time up. And the 0-1 from Baez. That is a fastball in there for strike 2.
Number 2, Mike Shimon. Number 2.
I'm not catching these pinch hitters. I don't know what's wrong with me. Mike Simone is up. So Simone's first at bat. But Burrows was 1 for 2. 0-2 or 1-2. Misses outside. Now it's 1-2. So 1-2 on Mike. Mike hitting at 167 with 2 RBIs. Your next pitch. And it's in the dirt. Foul ball. Hit on the ground foul. So 1-2 on Simone. So again, the Raiders with a 4-0 lead here. But yeah, the Raiders in 1983 had 20 wins. The following year in 1984, they had 18 wins. And those are also the only 2 years that they have state sectional championships under their belt. Your next pitch. Fastball misses high. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The Raiders have never won a GMC championship or a county championship, period. We mentioned they made it to the finals in 2009 and 2010. But again, not won the whole thing. As this one by Simone, grounded right side over to second base. Ranging to his right is Elijah Colon. Throws to first to get Simone barely. 1 out. Simone running hard down that first base line. Looks like we're going to get another pinch hitter here. So, yep. We'll have another pinch hitter for North Brunswick.
Attention fans, pinch hitting for the Raiders. Number 16, Sunil Parkey.
Sunil Parkey will pinch hit. Parkey, a right-handed batter. He's 0 for 1 so far in the season, so he's looking for his first varsity hit. Takes a fastball inside from Baez for ball 1. And so Baez with his pitch. Fastball at the belt for a called strike. And it's 1-1. Sunil is a senior. And so your next pitch. Fastball in the inside corner. And the count 1-2 now on Parkey. So 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out here in the last of the 6th. And your pitch. Baez misses with a curve inside. So the count now at 2-2 on Sunil Parkey. And so Baez will wind. 2-2 is in the dirt, ball 3. And the count now at 3-2 on Parkey. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. And Baez winds the 3-2. Fastball hit foul right side. Still 3-2 on Sunil Parkey. So Sunil getting a chance here to play at TD Bank Ballpark. And a 3-2. Fastball on the inside corner for strike 3. And that will be the second out of the inning. For Baez, that is his second strikeout. 2 out, nobody on, and Dylan Glassman will come to the plate.
Attention fans, pinch hitting for the Raiders, number 4, Akshat Thurugnaram.
Okay,
Number 4.
another curveball I'll get. Akshat Thurugnaram, the junior, will be up. First pitch from Baez, misses inside for ball 1. So yes, Akshat Thurugnaram will probably replace Glassman at second base. And your pitch, fastball at the belt for a called strike. 1-1 on Akshat. Akshat is 0 for 5 so far in the season. Your next pitch, fastball at the belt for strike 2. So Akshat is looking for his first varsity hit. 1 ball and 2 strikes. David Burrows got his. So Akshat will try to do the same. Baez with the 1-2. Swing and foul off the end of the bat. So still a ball and 2 strikes on Akshat Thurugnaram. So again, bottom of the 6th, Raiders lead it 4-0 here at TD Bank Ballpark. And your next pitch, swing and a grounder, slow ground at third base. It's a fair ball picked up by Grzinski. Throws to first and gets Akshat by half a step. And that'll do it, side retired. Akshat almost beat that one out for his first varsity hit, but hopefully for Akshat it will come at some point. But for the first time today, Baez gets the Raiders in order. So with that, we go to the 7th. And it looks like Danny Reardon is going to come on to pitch the 7th inning here. So the Raiders with a 4-0 lead. Danny Reardon for the 7th. We'll break. We'll come back in a moment. This is North Brunswick Raiders Baseball on the King James Radio Network.
Raiders Baseball on the King James Radio Network is presented by the North Brunswick Baseball and Softball Association at nbbsa.com and by Allstate Insurance Agent Hector Rodriguez located at 892 Route 22 East in Somerville, New Jersey. Call Hector at 908-927-9200.
We go to the top of the 7th, and Danny Reardon will now pitch for North Brunswick. And Reardon will go into the line with his first pitch. Fastball missing inside to Mike Gorzinski for ball 1. At least I think it's Gorzinski up there. We're getting pinch hitters. Yep, that's Gorzinski. All right, Gorzinski is 0 for 2. He is grounded out to short and flied out to left. Danny Reardon's pitch. Fastball missing maybe a little outside. 2 balls and no strikes on Gorzinski. Reardon, this is his first relief appearance. Next pitch is at the knees for a called strike. 2-1 on Gorzinski. But first relief appearance for Danny. As your next one is lined down the left field line. Foul ball. Just foul. 2-2 on Gorzinski. But on the season, Danny is 5-0 with a 2.62 ERA. 37 in the third innings pitched, 36 hits, 9 walks, and 25 strikeouts. Danny, along with his older brother Eric, who pitched here for North Brunswick, class of 2015, are the only 2 Raiders in this decade to win their first 5 decisions. Next pitch, and a breaking ball grounded foul left side of the Raider dugout. Still 2-2. Danny and Eric Reardon are also the only 2 Raiders in this decade to win 4 starts on the road. Now this is a neutral site game. Next pitch, misses low. 3 balls and 2 strikes. And I think, just trying to get some work in is Danny. And 3-2. Swing and a miss on a fastball for strike 3. And that is the first out of the inning. First strikeout for Danny Reardon. 1 out, and right fielder Ethan Doda will come to the plate. Doda, 0 for 1. He's 0 for 1, struck out looking, and hit by a pitch, which was his last time up. By the way, big-time changes in the field for the Raiders here, besides Reardon. And his pitch, fastball on the outside corner for strike 1. Stephen Milenko takes over at first base for North Brunswick. Akshat Thurugnanom, who pinch hit in the last half inning, stays in the game. He plays at second. As Reardon's pitch, curve drops in for strike 2. 0-2 on Ethan Doda. Sean Brahini is now in left field. Mike Simone is in center. So those are your changes. As Reardon's pitch, fastball outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Ethan Doda. So the Raiders 2 outs away from their 14th win. And your next pitch from Reardon. Breaking ball outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Carteret has been held to 3 hits today. And your pitch from Reardon. Fastball, grounded foul, right side. So still 2 balls and 2 strikes on Ethan Doda. And again, the Raiders will next face Woodbridge tomorrow, and Tuesday will be live from Guido de Torres Field in North Brunswick at 3:30 with Raiders Live. And this one sliced or hit foul left side out of play. So Doda staying in the at-bat here at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Raiders with 4 runs on 6 hits, no errors. Carteret, no runs on 3 hits and 2 errors. And Reardon's pitch, fastball popped up, right side. Reardon off the mound. It's him and Milenko. To be Milenko that makes the catch for the second out. So that brings the Ramblers down to their final out.
Now batting for the Ramblers, number 11, the left fielder, Josh Chambers.
And Josh Chambers will try to keep it alive here for Carteret. Chambers 1 for 2, a single, and flied out to left his last time up. So Danny Reardon into the wind, his pitch, and an off speed looked like dropped in for strike 1. So the Raiders bouncing back from that 10-run loss to Middlesex. Fastball in the dirt from Reardon. 1 ball and a strike. So the count at 1-1. Your next pitch, hit foul, left side, out of play. It will be 1-2 on Chambers, which means that the Carteret Ramblers have one more strike left. So 1 ball and 2 strikes on Chambers. And into the wind is Reardon. The 1-2. Swing and a grounder foul left side off the dugout fence of the Raiders there. So still a ball and 2 strikes on Chambers. So again, good game for the Raiders here at TD Bank Ballpark as Reardon's pitch. Curve swung, grounded back to Reardon. He's got it. He'll run it over and underhand it to first. And this game is over. The North Brunswick Raiders pick up their 14th win of the season. A 4-0 win over the Carteret Ramblers here at TD Bank Ballpark in Bridgewater. So the Raiders get it done. Win number 14, the most wins in a season for North Brunswick since 2010. So that's 8 years. The Raiders with 2 in the third and 2 in the fifth. An RBI sac fly from Christian Petrillo, an RBI double from Andrew Tan in the third inning. And then in the fifth, back-to-back RBI doubles from Danny Reardon and Damian Ortiz. And the Raiders handle business. Now 14-6 on the season. Carteret loses their 6th straight game. And they are now 6-12 on the year, again, after a 6-6 start. So Reardon with a 1-2-3 7th inning. Raiders pitching retired their last 7 batters between Petrillo and Reardon. So we will break here, and we'll come back with our Raiders Live postgame. The final score here is North Brunswick 4, Carteret nothing. We'll be back with our Raiders Live postgame presented by Rich Zangara at Wells Fargo in a moment. This is Raiders Baseball on the King James Radio Network.
We're ready for the Raiders Live post-game show, presented by Rich Zangara at Wells Fargo Advisors.
All right, so our Raiders Live post-game is upon us, and so we have a final score as the Raiders win it by a score of 4-0. And, so Christian Petrillo will be up with us here in just a second. I think he's trying to come in here. So let me see. He might have come in. Oh, there he is. I was saying you could meet me out here so you didn't have to go through all of that, But Christian Petrillo will join us here in the press box after 6 innings, where he only allowed 3 hits on the day. And so we'll talk to Chich here for a second from TD Bank Ballpark in Bridgewater. And I assume that Coach Blevins probably told you some point before today that you were going to get the start. I know that, you guys had a full slate of games last week, so you guys had to use, quite a few arms. So did you have an idea even before Coach Blevins approached you that you might, be getting a start here or no?
Honestly, I didn't know I was going to be getting a start, but I knew I was going to have to throw some innings here and there. I mean, our pitchers have been through a lot last week, throwing a lot of pitches, so I got to give them time off. Yeah. All
right, and, did you know right away that, your pitches were working for you?
Yeah, I had an idea. I was warming up over there before the game, and I just felt really good. Everything was clicking. I mean, my slider was working, my curveball, fastball, all of it was working. So I felt really confident when I came up there.
Any difference as far as pitching here as opposed to your typical high school field?
Oh, yes. The mound is absolutely beautiful over here, and it's just a really cool atmosphere to pitch in. So it's really, really exciting to play here.
Is it the backstop intimidating or no? Like, in other words, you're trying not to make a mistake. Damian's been pretty good back there, but, just trying not to, throw one, this way or that way. Any thought about that at all?
Not really. I mean, I looked over. I was like, wow, that's pretty big. But I knew Damian's kind of a brick wall back there. I knew I had a lot of confidence in him. I knew I could throw whatever I needed to, and I know he'd help me out in the back.
2 runs in the third inning to get you guys going. You had the sacrifice fly, and then Tan with the double. So, kind of a, your standard run-of-the-mill question, how important to get those 2 runs on the board there?
Oh, it was huge. I mean, we were trying to get that earlier in the game, but, that inning was pretty big. We had Glassman go up there, get on base as quick as possible, and I got my job done, and then Tan came up pretty big too.
Speaking of which, you were hitting leadoff most of the season, and then, you got they put Dylan at the top and Caleb Rodriguez second, you third. And do you feel like, and it looks like you guys have only lost one game since the change. Do you feel like, another silly question, but do you feel like this has been working for you guys?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was kind of in a slump at the leadoff spot, and Blevins just wanted to help me out, make a difference to the lineup. And he put me at third, and I was like, oh, wow, I never really thought I would ever hit there. But, I mean, it's been working. It's been clicking. Glassman's been hot all year. Caleb's been on all year. And I just had to get a job done, and it's been working a lot with our team.
So you become now, one of the power guys will be Tan and Ortiz and Berhini when he's in there, and Hobson. How about Kelson? The guys, 4 homers in 10 games, so obviously that's giving you guys a huge lift.
Mm-hmm.
Ortiz, has had a couple homers. Danny, so did you guys expect to hit a lot of home runs or no?
I mean, we're talking a lot in the offseason about it, like, oh, man, our field's really short. Everyone's going to be hitting bombs left and right. But, I mean, we never really thought it would click like that. I mean, Kelson with 4 home runs, he's absolutely crushing the ball every single at-bat. He's always on. Reardon's always on. He always finds a way to hit a ball over the fence, and nobody knows how it happens. It's been working.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, you guys had scored like 50 runs in 4 games, and then you guys, and then obviously the game against Middlesex. I don't think, that game, you wanted to win that game, but John, I know he ran into some walks. I want to talk to you about. Obviously you're trying to cut down your walks. What have you? There's your dad. What have you been? Trying to different arm slot? Is something different you're trying to do to try to cut down on your walks?
I mean, before the game, Blevins kind of just walked up to me very angrily. It was very, very scary. It was like, throw strikes. He's like, if you throw a ball, I will be upset. I was like, okay, well, looks like I'm not throwing any balls. So I just got a very, very aggressive approach out there, and it was working.
Only 1 walk today for Chich, which came in the 3rd inning. Mm-hmm. And that was quickly erased. So, 14 wins now. So you haven't had 14 wins in 8 years. So that's a benchmark. You're crossing off your benchmarks here one by one. Obviously, state playoffs. You're going to be in there. Division. You got 2 games against Woodbridge. You still got a shot to try to catch Colonia here and share the division with them if you can. What's the mindset now for tomorrow as you go back home and face Woodbridge? I
mean, tomorrow's game is huge. Like, if we win that game, we'll get up there. We'll be seated pretty high up there with Colonia. It's a pretty must-win game. We're gonna come in there aggressive as much as we can and get the job done. I mean, we've been able to do that every game. Woodbridge is a tough team, but I feel like we can get it done.
Now, I'm assuming that, based on the fact that, A, you were pitching today, and that, B, he put Danny out for the 7th inning, I'm assuming that, I could be wrong, but I'm assuming he might have Steven go tomorrow and Danny Tuesday or something of that effect. Or he might flip, for all I know, he might flip-flop it. He didn't tell you, did he?
No, I don't know. I have no idea. I think he put Danny in just to see how his arm's feeling after the Montclair game. So he may go tomorrow. He may go Tuesday. I don't really know yet.
Okay. But it's going to be some combination, I think, of those two. Mike Simone, has pitched well for you guys. Did you expect I know you guys had a lot of arms, but did you expect, the pitching to work as well as it has?
Yeah, honestly. I mean, we've played together for years, this team right here, and we've seen Simone pitch, we've seen Malenko pitch, we've seen Reardon pitch. They're all good, spot-on pitchers, and they just got every game they find it, and they're always on.
And coming out of normally this was your first start, so you were working out of the bullpen. Any difference in your pregame routine at all, or no?
Not really. I've just been trying to stay calm, stay confident with it, just trust my slider, just normal mindset with it.
And finally, GMC's start later this week. You mentioned you got to get through Woodbridge first. You're a junior, so the seniors. Obviously, you guys want to try to win this one for them too. You might be still thinking about Woodbridge here, but any thoughts on GMC's this year?
Oh, I think we could get it. I mean, we have a bond on this team that we haven't had in years. I mean, I've been on varsity since freshman year, and I haven't seen so many guys come together as friends and just hang out, like, even off the field, and it's pretty great. We got something really good going on right now, and I feel like we could get it done. It's gonna be tough, but I feel like we got it.
By the way, what's going on with Dean and the beard there?
Oh yeah, he's retired now, so he's been trying to grow it out. He says he's gonna grow it out the whole year. And then maybe trim the sides, but he's going to keep it as long as he can. I don't know.
It's the gray that's getting me.
Yeah.
So I'm sure between you and Tyler, you guys have probably put a few grays on there. But,
yeah, most definitely, absolutely.
but no, he looks all right. He looks all right.
He doesn't look bad.
I don't look at men like that, but he looks all right. So congrats to Dean on growing the beard. But Christian Petrillo again joining us here. 6 innings, a 3-hit ball, shutout for the Raiders as they win it 4-0 over Carteret, win number 14 on the season. And again, the Raiders will try to catch Colonia in the GMC White as they take on Woodbridge in the final 2 games for the White division. And then, Spotswood senior night on Wednesday. And then, after that, you start to look at GMCs. So, Chich, thanks again.
Thank you.
And good luck to you guys. All right.
They might have. No, they're up there.
They're up there. Okay. I was going to say, you guys took the bus here, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Get on the bus. I appreciate it. All
Thanks
right.
for having me.
No problem. Christopher Petrillo, you can just put that down. And again, 3 hits, shutout ball for Chich as the Raiders win it by a score of 4-0. We'll be with you tomorrow from Guido de Torres Field when the Raiders take on Woodbridge at 3:45 and Raiders Live pregame at 3:30. And so let's do the final totals here. For North Brunswick, 4 runs on 6 hits and no errors. They left 6 men on base. For the Ramblers of Carteret, no runs on 3 hits and 2 errors. They left 4. Your winning pitcher, you was just here, Christian Petrillo, 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 walk, and 4 strikeouts for Petrillo. And the loss goes over to Tyler Baez. He is now 1-5. Baez did not pitch that badly, to be honest. And so tough going there for Baez. He was victimized by a couple of Carteret errors earlier in the game, and so that kind of led to things, unraveling for the Ramblers a little bit. Let's see, just real quick. Let's see, the last shutout that the Raiders had, they beat Colonia 1-0 back on April 23rd. Danny Reardon went the distance in that game through a 5-hitter, and so Christian Petrillo with the shutout win in his first start of the year. So. Again, we'll be with you tomorrow from Guido de Torres Field in North Brunswick. My thanks to Mark Schwartz and the Somerset Patriots for hosting us here today. And again, the athletic director at North Brunswick Township High School is Mr. Michael Lucarelli. And site supervisor, I don't think she's here today, but site supervisor is Lisa Barkley. All right, so we will talk to you tomorrow on Monday from TD Bank Ballpark for North Brunswick and Woodbridge. Huge game in the GMC White. They need help from Sayreville. If Sayreville beats Colonia and the Raiders can beat Woodbridge, both games, then the Raiders, 2 games left for everybody in the GMC White. And Colonia is 2 games ahead of North Brunswick, Woodbridge, and South Plainfield. I don't have my standings in front of me. But if the Raiders can beat, if they have to win their 2 games against Woodbridge, Sayreville would have to beat Colonia in 2 games. If that happens, then there would be a 3-way tie for the GMC White. So I believe, did I say South Plainfield? I might have said, so Sayreville. There would be a 3-way tie between, if my math is right, there would be a 3-way tie between Sayreville, North Brunswick, and Colonia for the GMC White. If my math is right, I'll just check it real quick here before we go. But that's if all of those things happen. If the Raiders beat Woodbridge twice and Sayreville beats Colonia twice on Monday and Tuesday, respectively, yes, South Plainfield's at 6-6, so they're done as far as the division is concerned. But yeah, so Woodbridge, North Brunswick, and Sayreville all tied for second place at 6-4. Colonia at 8-2. They're 2 games ahead. So Sayreville beats Colonia twice, and the Raiders beat Woodbridge twice. That would force a 3-way tie for the division title. Don't ask me how that gets straightened out. I have to consult with Greg Tafaro on this. I'm, presuming that they would just give it as a 3-way tie, and then they would have to be seeded somewhere in the top 12 or whatever for the GMC tournament. So I'm thinking that's the way it's going to go. But if that happens, Colonia, of course, behind Chris Michael and Nick Nielsen and Frank Lehman on the mound there, a very formidable team. But anyway, we'll be with you tomorrow. Game time at 3:45. Raiders Live pregame presented by the Cal team at Remax Country at 3:30. Until then, this is Corbett Thompson saying goodbye. Godspeed from TD Bank Ballpark, home of the Somerset Patriots in Bridgewater, New Jersey. Your final score here, the North Brunswick Raiders 4, the Carteret Ramblers nothing. Talk to you tomorrow. You folks, have a good night.